this week, some information sort of came to light about the OWL and what it might look like. The Overwatch League commissioner, Nazer, was speaking to an audience in New York, talking about the Overwatch League, and he brought with him a graphic that displayed some cities and some teams that could possibly be in the Overwatch League. Of course, this was not a leak of the teams that will be in the Overwatch League. Far from it. It's just an illustration to give people the idea of what the Overwatch League could look like. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing to glean from this graphic. This is what Blizzard hopes the Overwatch League could look like, in theory. Cities listed, we've got Los Angeles, New York, Boston, DC, Dallas, San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, Miami. And that's just America. Paris, Frankfurt, London, Shanghai, Toronto, Seoul, Mexico City. I would be very disappointed if this is what the Overwatch League looks like. The real caller in chat, one team from Korea, yeah, right? Exactly my point. I don't know, man. I really, really hope that this is not what the Overwatch League looks like, because here's the thing, right? So they'll take, if this is what it looks like, they'll take whatever cities there are, and they'll put them all in California, presumably, and they'll play out their games there. And at that point, well, we just have the LCS, except we have additional branding, and we have this really, really insane gatekeeping, millions of dollars to buy in to a spot. Like, just make the LCS, you know? That's totally fine. And at that point, it's just a strictly worse LCS anyways, because there's so much less content. Have Korea, North America, Europe, you know? Have the divide there, you know? It's totally fine. There's very strong Overwatch players in Europe. You just need to help that scene, you know? You have to release information on that scene. Like, fuck, Reunited shut down because there was such little information on the OWL, and the only speculation that there was that it was going to be a lot of money to buy in. And everything that I see, you know, like, I've not seen anything to dissuade the idea that it's not a lot of that it's going to be tons of money to buy in, right? Like, I think Monty on Twitter, the last rumor that came out, I think Monte Cristo on Twitter was talking about how, like, oh, guys, calm down. It's not a big deal. It's not going to be millions of dollars. Don't be ridiculous. But, like, man, they're not saying anything else, you know? Like, they've got to step up and actually release some real information, you know? Because then you can avoid situations where Nazer goes to a conference with an illustration of what things might look like, and then it's huge news across the esports world, you know? They're really dropping the ball, I think, in my opinion. It's not going to be regional lock, though, right? So nothing to stop a Korean org buying a franchise abroad. Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense, because the Korean orgs will have Korean sponsorship, right? Like, the players get to move around if it's not region locked, but the orgs themselves, like the organizations, they aren't going to move, right? Like, if you're a Korean team with Korean sponsorship, you're not going to become the, I don't know, Dallas generic Green Wings. You know, it doesn't make any sense. I should try and interview Monty. I don't know if I'm well known enough to interview Monty. I would like to try to interview actually Achilleos is on the list of people that I want to interview. So I think after I interview Achilleos, I'll have done Wolf and Achilleos, and those will be a good jumping off point to hit up Monty and Doa, because those are two people that I definitely would like to interview, and I think I could do a good job. Excuse me. I also, well, I mean, you guys know, you guys should know, Nate Nathanius is the next interview topic, or interview subject, excuse me. But a date yet to be determined, and then after that, here's your sneak peek. I'm hoping it's going to be Rotterdam. He's already agreed, we just have to, like, get in touch and talk about dates and stuff. So, I'm going to be a couple, probably at least a month before I start looking at doing any Monty or Doa reaching out or anything like that. There's a long list of StarCraft people that I'd like to talk to, but I have to start prioritizing Overwatch. If I want to do Overwatch, I have to start prioritizing Overwatch. Biggest soccer team in Asia are European teams? Really? Can you send me like a link to some information on that? That would be very interesting. How are they actually going to choose the teams? Will the teams pay for the spots? Yeah, it's my understanding that there will be bidding on the spots with like a price tag, you know, like an initial bid. And with teams like Splice and Dignitas and who else? TL, you know, with these teams being backed by mainstream sports entities, they'll have the money to throw $500K, $1 million at a slot. So yeah, so like there are teams like Complexity, you know. Yeah, you'd bid for a certain spot in the city. So say for Splice, they'll obviously want to be in Boston. Did Man UTD really have 659 million supporters? Manchester United is one of the few teams that I know about. Even though the most... Okay, so unless I'm missing something, and I very well might have, in which case, let me know, fam. That article says that they have fans in the rest of the world outside of where they're located. But that's not to say they would relocate to China because they have so many fans in China. They wouldn't be Manchester United then, right? Like, their whole brand and their whole sponsorship is based on Manchester, right? This is kind of a bit of a false dichotomy, I feel, too. If you have 108 million fans anywhere in the world, then you're probably the biggest esports team in the world. I would think. Yeah, definitely. Like esports isn't quite at the level yet. Like because for these guys, right, for Manchester United, they get to market to those people their shirts and everything and the paraphernalia of the team, right? But like that's not really much of a thing in esports. Like it's heavily reliant on sponsorship, team sponsorship. So your sponsorship wants you to be in the area where their target demographics are, right? Because it only makes sense. And this is the age-old argument with region locking. So yeah, I don't know, man. Well, the Overwatch League could have all Korean teams, though, even if the name on the team is LATSM. All right, so here's the thing, right? Here's the age-old argument with region locking again, right? So if you're marketing in Los Angeles, let's strip it down even further. If you're marketing on, if your target demographic is 42nd Street, Los Angeles, for example, right? Some of the best marketing that you can possibly do is to have someone from 42nd Street, Los Angeles, who people really like and who people will recognize, go around and say, hey, this product is great. You should buy it. That is some of the best marketing that you can do. On a bigger scale, if you're marketing to the city of Los Angeles, some of the best marketing that you can do is having someone who is very well liked and very well known in Los Angeles go around and say, hey, this product is the best, right? Same thing. If you're marketing to America, then it's very, very good to have someone from America who can go around and say, hey, this is good shit, you know, somebody who's popular and well liked. If you're bringing in people from, if you're on 42nd Street and you're bringing in people from 45th Street, and the people on 45th Street just have a completely different life, it's basically all the way around the world, they speak a different language, your marketing is going to be a little less effective, right? Like, they can still be nice people, they can still be really good at what they do, but it's just not going to be as effective, right? Like, this is my perpetual argument. This is the first time I've used this analogy, so bear with me, right? Oh, strap in is fucking right? Who was the dude you brought on last time to talk about region locking? The debate was thoroughly entertaining. Oh man, I don't fucking remember. Why do we do region lock memes every single time, guys? Why do we do region lock memes every time? So the point is, for TSM, so TSM, right? Let's look at TSM. Let's go back to the browser. Let's go team solo mid. Let's bring up the old browser. Team solo mid, tsm.gg. Completely agree with you. I'm saying that just because they only showed one Korean team. Yes, oh, okay, I'm sorry. You're completely right. But you know what? You started me on this, so we're fucking finishing it, alright? You started the region lock memes, you're gonna fucking finish it. Alright. So, TSM partners, Logitech, HTC, Axe, oh my god, really? Ugh. Twitch, Kingston HyperX, no longer Kingston, Red Bull, Cyberpower, Geico? Okay. So let's look at this sponsor. So Geico, I'm pretty sure, is an American company. Look, we even used their okay, enter zip code. Yep, this is American marketing, right? They're marketing to Americans here. Cyberpower PC. Oh, there's no like community link here. But do they have pages in non-English? I wonder. I don't know. They could. Let's see. Is there any information like at the bottom of the page to change the language? Let's go FAQ. Oh, no, actually, no. Let's go contact us. Oh, no, I fucked it up. Okay. Let's see if we can find like a business address for them. You're goddamn right you did this. This is Acer. Contact us. Okay, so Baldwin Park Boulevard, California. Okay, so they're in California. Red Bull. Well, I don't think we need to click on Red Bull. Everybody in this stream right now should know goddamn well that Hot Six is just the best energy drink in South Korea, right? Hot Six GSL for life. So this is not for the Korean audience. HyperX. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll check it out. Ooh, man, they gotta look at how much support. Look at all the dollars that I'm given. TSM. This is another referral link here, guys. Oh my god. Very slow loading page. Where are you located? This site's super slow. Okay, so Twitch TV is broadening their reach in Korea with the Twitch Korean stuff. Crank got partnered, by the way, guys. Crank got partnered. Twitch Korea. Good for them. But see, this is a fucking thing. Like, they partnered Crank. They didn't partner TSM to grow their Korean audience, right? So this is mostly not for non-English speaking audiences, right? Axe. Whew. Oh man, that's a spicy one. We'll just pretend that's not there at all, right? We'll just ignore this one, guys. All right, that one's not a thing. So HTC. I don't think that HTC... I'm not sure. HTC might be in Korea. It's entirely possible. But oh, look at this. Team Liquid, Cloud9, and TSM. These are all foreign teams. Thinking emoji. Let's see. Company overview. Let's see where their offices are. Okay, so Kingston's ops are, okay, also California. Okay, company overview. Is there contact information somewhere? All right, I'm gonna give HTC there. That is entirely possible that they're super focused on Korea, and this is how they grow their Korean audience. They are growing their Korean audience through Team Solo Mid partnership. It's entirely possible. All right, I give it up to you because I just don't know otherwise. Logitech. Logitech. ENCA. That might just be my IP, though. Do they have... Select a language. English. French. That might just be... Okay, yeah, let's change location. So where can we change the location? Oh, yeah, look at this. All right, so Logitech is actually totally global. We'll give it up to them. What happens if we go to Korea, though? Oh, we got Cloud9 on the Korean page. Oh, man. Oh, guys. What if I'm disproving my point right now? So for most of TSM's companies that are sponsoring them, they're mostly based in California, particularly, right, to our knowledge. If not, then the Western world, okay? There are two exceptions there. If HTC is based in Taiwan, fair enough. And if Logitech uses like TSM, CLG imagery on their Korean site, fair enough, okay? But the point stands, it seems to be most sponsors want marketing that is like coming from their target demographic, right? If your target demographic is the 18 to 25-year-old American male, right, then you probably are going to want a team that represents your target demographic, because that level of connection is just there on another. There's just one more level of connection, right, between the fans and the players who are repping your gear, and that's valuable. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. And it's not to say that no one from outside of the target demographic can ever, like Solar is a great person to bring up here. Solar is the man. Solar's English is top tier, and that helps him a lot. That makes him a really good brand asset for a company like Splice, right? He's a charismatic guy, like Solar is the perfect example of, well, what about, like the contradiction of the rule. But Solar's a rarity, right? Only one Korean team isn't really true. Yeah, but see, that's the thing, right? So I don't watch hockey. My parents do sometimes, right? And I'll start paying attention at the end of any given season. So in hockey, it is very much tradition at this point for the Stanley Cup Finals to be between a Canadian team in name and an American team. But then when you look at the players of the team, for like a bunch of times, right? The Canadian team, like the Montreal Canadiens, let's just say. Or no, wait, they suck. The Calgary Flames, let's say. So the Calgary Flames are playing against the Philadelphia Flyers. Well, in name, the Calgary Flames are Canadian. But what happens when there are more Canadian players on the Philadelphia Flyers, right? It's weird. It gets really weird and murky. Most people, though, would never say, oh, well, the Philadelphia Flyers are more of a Canadian team because they have more Canadian players, so I'm going to root for them. Most people don't say that, right? Most people don't really care to find out. They just really care about the attachment of the city, or, like any number of reasons. So, because, okay, sure, like you can populate your team from Dallas with players from Korea, I would not personally identify that as a Korean team. It is a team of Koreans, but it is a Dallas team. You know what I mean? And again, this goes back to the idea of like gatekeeping in the OWL. And I think that'll be a really large problem in the future. Like, when your buy-ins are so expensive, that'll dissuade people from being involved in your scene. When you're like, if you're only offering one spot for Seoul, Korea, what happens to the rest of the Korean teams? Like, that's going to be very disheartening. It's going to not endear those teams to the whole plan and the whole scene and the developer, right? Like, it just seems like there's a lot of gatekeeping in the OWL based on these rumors and based on the information that we have, which is so limited. So what Blizzard needs to do is get some information out there and test these waters, How are fans going to react? And this is the thing. Fans might not even care. It's totally plausible. Fans don't care about very much, with Overwatch esports right now. So if none of the casual base is bothered by anything that you're planning on doing, then I guess fuck it, right? But at least get it out there. Get that information out there. It's important to know. I thought you were worried that Koreans won't get a chance even if they're good. Well, okay, so I think that not region locking is a mistake for aforementioned reasons. We're not going to go into it again. And if that's, like, if they do decide to region lock, and if they do agree that it's going to be a mistake, then yeah, I'm definitely worried that Korean players won't get a chance to play. I think it would be... I don't know. It seems like what they're doing is just worse LCS, and what I thought they would be doing is better LCS. And they're not, like, so the LCS is, like, pretty bad in my opinion. It really puts, like, a stronghold grip on the League of Legends scene. It makes it hard for third-party tournament organizers to work around. And if your team's not in the LCS, then you don't have very much to do. Sucks, feels bad. You better be good at streaming. So I don't like the LCS in premise. I thought that they would have the aspects of, like, localization that the LCS has, with added support for third-party tournaments, and that would be the dream. But they're not. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that specifically. I think that the level of play will be the deciding factor which players get picked. So this is another thing, actually. Let's talk about that very briefly. I thought about this the other day. In the initial pitch at BlizzCon, they talked about having like a audition system, or a tryout system, rather, where the teams like plant, and then once a year there's like a tryout where people are signed to the teams or whatever. That seems really bad. How does that work, you know? If there's one team in Seoul, how are those Korean hopefuls trying out for any teams, you know? Like, are you going to bring team owners to different locations, or scouts to different locations? Is that how that's going to work? Are you going to break up the existing teams and let them all be drafted? Very strange, you know? Like, how the hell does that work? How does a tryout system in esports work when the esport has been, like, pretty defined? So, I mean, I don't know. Like, there are a lot of very glaring issues with the Overwatch League. I think they're trying too hard to be too different. They're pushing the envelope too far, I think, maybe. There are a lot of throwbacks that you can make to, God, what was it called? Because this is Championship Gaming Series. Here we go. Oh, here we go, boys. All right. We did it. We did it, Reddit. All right, so the Championship Gaming Series. International Esports League based in the United States. Teams from several countries. CGS was preceded by the 2006 Championship Gaming Invitational, a television pilot featuring several future CGS players. The league was founded in 2007 and was owned and operated by DirecTV, in association with British Sky Broadcasting and Star TV. Yeah, I was wrong. It wasn't MTV. It folded in 2008 after 2 seasons. Okay. So, the first CGS season consisted of 6 franchises from 6 different major cities throughout Region 1, the US and Canada, plus a total of 10 more franchises from the other global regions and the world. Each franchise consisted of a total of 10 players, 5 Counter-Strike Source players, 2 Dead or Alive 4 players, 1 male and 1 female, 1 FIFA 7 player, 2 Project Gotham Racing 3 players. CGS held their first ever draft at the Playboy Mansion in Los Angeles, with Vanessa Artiga being selected as the first overall pick. The first televised match was shown on DirecTV, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. Like, this is very, very, like, it rings a lot of bells to me when I look at this and when I think of what they have planned for the Overwatch League. And I don't know, guys. It just doesn't seem... Like, so there are some pretty glaring problems with this. Like, A, 2007 esports wasn't as big as it is right now. B, doing things like hosting your draft event at the Playboy Mansion, that's super fucking weird, man. That's so weird. Having a game like Dead or Alive and FIFA and Project Gotham Racing, like, I have no idea how big those scenes were in 2007. It's entirely possible that they were, you know, big, but like Dead or Alive 4 in 2007? I don't know, man. I don't know at all. Is there, like, even a pro gaming section? Oof, nope. Their pro gaming section is CGS, apparently. 2008 Game Pro staff ranked it as the 11th best. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, that's not so hot. So, like, there are definitely lessons to learn from that shit. And I don't think that... I think it's conceivable that Blizzard hasn't learned the lessons that can be learned from that shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really tough. It's so hard to predict anything about the Overwatch League without knowing specifics. And this is where all the rumors and speculation comes from, you know? This is where the uncertainty in the scene comes from. I'm pretty sure at this point, teams like Complexity have completely accepted the fact that they will not be a part of the Overwatch League.